Trojan family, Trojan gang. Fighter on Forever's in the building. And today, I finna let y'all know what's been going on at USC this week. You know, a little news and notes, injury reports and whatnot. You know, USC news for a Trojan on this bye week. You know, even in the bye week, we gotta keep grinding and getting better. So I gotta keep y'all locked in with USC. First thing I want to talk about is the little injury report. We got a couple little injuries, right? Backup center Keelan O'Connor hurt. You know, he gonna miss a few weeks. It ain't season ending, but you know, he gonna be out a couple weeks. So we gonna shuffle around the backup offensive line. I heard they giving Amos Talele some snap at center. Gino Canonia's little snaps at center, so we got to shuffle around a little backup second line unit, but expect Killian to be back at some point this season, right? Also on the injury front, Coach Lincoln Riley was asked about Eric Gentry not being at practice at Tuesday, right? He said everything is all good with Eric Gentry. Said he'll play versus Michigan in 2 weeks. Also said that Mason Cobb and Jalen Smith, who were both out versus Utah State, will be healthy for Michigan. So that's the good news. You know, you're going to have injuries during the season, but you just pray and cross your fingers for little knick-knack injuries, no major injuries, nothing that's going to keep a player out for the season, right? And we got more depth than anticipated. So we can handle little knick-knack injuries. And hopefully these players will be back at 100%. Lincoln Riley makes it seem like, you know, it ain't nothing major. There's little nicks and bruises that come with the season, right? Another thing I want to talk about is USC, the new facility, right? The new facility that's USC building is being underway. They've been making space, but now it's officially underway. They like in phase 3 now, to where they finna actually start putting it in the ground. At first, this whole time it's been construction, preparing for it, making space, carving off space. Now they finna actually start building the building to that new facility that this gonna only help us in recruiting. Y'all think we a monster in recruiting now, getting this new facility, we really gonna be hard to play with, right? We really gonna be a recruiting beast. This facility, don't underestimate it. This facility it's going to help a lot, and it's going to help the players that's there, not just for recruiting. You know, they can be able to get recovery, they meals. I mean, they could be able to be better prepared in a more high-tech, efficient environment. So this facility is going to show its deed, and you know, and its benefits on the field as well, right? Another thing I want to talk about is, you know, against that Utah State, USC offensive line was doing their thing. They big bodies up front was doing what they supposed to do, moving bodies around. They averaged 6.7 yards a carry, right? Another thing I want to talk about is what Josh Pate had to say. Now, Josh Pate, I don't know if I trust it, but he done made a complete 180 about how he feel about USC, right? Before I get to Josh Pate, though, I want to talk about Kalen Bullock, though. Your boy Kalen Bullock was rated the highest graded rookie week 1, right? Playing safety for the Houston Texans. Y'all see he had that pick. Fight on. Kalen Bullock out there balling on the NFL level, but none of us surprised. We know he a ball hawk, and that kid could play. Imagine how this kid would have looked in this defense. It would have been sick. It would have been amazing, right? Another thing I want to touch on, that the USC Athletics and a cannabis/CBD company, Cookies, right? USC has made a deal, has inked a first of its kind multi-year marketing deal, right? With the Cookies brand. It's emblematic of the change in college sports as USC continue to find revenue streams. It's a treadmill that's gonna never end. Now, you know, Cookies is that marijuana company that is very famous, probably one of the most biggest companies. So USC got a marketing deal with them. And, you know, some people have some things to say like this ain't a good look for USC, but we got to get the dollars. And apparently, if it's this much money in the marijuana, then most of the people probably doing it. And on top of that, I mean, the NCAA just took it off its ban list. So the NCAA don't even test for marijuana no more. But when you really read deep into the deal, USC got a deal on the CBD side. Now, CBD could be used for medicines, oils. Like my mother, she used CBD oil for her back pains and things like that. So I don't think it's, when you read the fine print of the deal, it's not endorsing the marijuana, the flower, the leaf side of the cookies brand. It's endorsing to have a deal. It's endorsing the CBD side of it, which is oils, medicine, things of that nature. It's not the get you high part, right? CBD don't get you high. It just have medical effects, right? So those who thinking, this is a bad look for USC, and well, if you look into it, they got a marketing deal with the oils, the medicine side of the cookies brand company, right? And then other news, back to Josh Pate. I want y'all to check out this video of Josh Pate and what he had to say to you about USC. Do y'all trust it? Do y'all trust him? Or you think that he's setting us up? Check out this video or this audio, right? And I'll be right back.
Forever has been one. And lastly, as far as the things I've learned this year, I have learned that USC, to me, is the story of the year in college football so far. Lincoln Riley forever has been one of the very best play callers and offensive coordinator types in this sport. He happens to be a head coach, but he is also his offensive coordinator, essentially. He's been that for a long time. Every quarterback is a Heisman Trophy contender. Rewrote offensive record books at Oklahoma, had him as a double-digit winner every year, goes to USC. Everyone thinks this is going to be an immediate explosion, and it's not, because he improperly hired or imported defensive staffers, and that dug him a little bit of a hole. And to his credit, he tried to correct not only with better hires, but also a philosophy and program shift in the spring last year, or this year, and it's worked. That's the story. It's worked. A lot of guys have tried to change things about themselves before, but see, the thing about changing yourself is it's really hard to do, because you are yourself. You are what you are. You've got to be willing to change what you are. It's not window dressing. You can't just say a bunch of stuff in a microphone and say things like, we're going to be a defensive-oriented team. You're Lincoln Riley. No, you're not. Well, he meant it. He meant it. Credit to him for not just making the hire, but he made the hires, plural, and it's so noticeable. Overnight, it's noticeable, which means they weren't totally void of defensive talent. I've been surprised by it. Like, I thought Lynn coming over from UCLA is one thing, and that staff being massively upgraded is one thing, but you can only do, as a chef, what your ingredients give you the capability to do. And even the best chefs would tell you that. Clearly, I roll in the highest of culinary circles. You know what? Southern Cal fans, to their credit, I got to talk to my friends over on the Peristyle. You guys knew your team. Maybe there were some better ingredients in the kitchen than we knew. And Alex Grinch he's just playing play school in there. I think Southern Cal is the story of the year. Now, the year is 2 weeks old, and so we're going into week 3. Are they off, Jesse? They got a bye week? Oh, you can't talk to me. That's right. IFB problems. They are going to Michigan next week. Now, I don't need to sell you on that game. I think you already understand ramifications for both sides, but that's why that Arkansas State-Michigan game is very important to me this week, too. I think USC is the story of the year in college football so far. And lastly, as far as the thing...
Do y'all trust him? You think he trying to set us up, trying to build us up? As soon as we might take an L, right? He gonna crash on us and say, ho, we gotta pump the brakes. Do y'all trust it? But I could say one thing about this dude, JP, right? He actually admitted on live air that down south that they are raised up to hate USC. He said he was raised up to hate USC. And all that great football, right? All the great football that's supposedly played down in the SEC, why would they hate a West Coast school? If there's so much great football down there, it should be some rival teams down there that you hate more than anything, right? But nah, they hate USC. They hate USC. So I respect him for letting us know that. Even though we already knew it, he admitted it on air. And then Lane Kiffin, right? Lane Kiffin, I always had love for Lane Kiffin. He came at USC at a tough time. And Lane Kiffin, he was still maturing, a young coach. But he was trolling Paul Finebaum. Because, Paul Finebaum said that Cal had no chance to beat Auburn, right? So Lane Kiffin, he clipped that tweet or whatever and said, what are you good at? What are you good at again? That's what he said. What are you good at again? So I just got to laugh out of Lane Kiffin making fun of Paul Finebaum. They got their little rivalry. They be going at each other. I don't know if it's serious or for play, but it's very entertaining. Oh, and I got one more clip for y'all that I want y'all to see about Max Brown talking about the transfer portal and the two different approaches players could take. So y'all check out this video and let me know what y'all think.
I transferred from USC to Pittsburgh to play quarterback, and during that process, you often hear the grass isn't always greener. Idaho coach Jason Eck, who almost beat Oregon after an offseason in which some of his talent got poached by bigger programs, has a twist on that saying for guys in his program thinking about transferring. Wait until the grass gets greener. He told Bruce Feldman his pitches, stay one more year here, and then you might be able to get $500,000 from a Power 4 school. Don't just jump for $100,000. It's honestly a great pitch. Coach Eck's quarterback from last year, Giovanni McCoy, was a Walter Payton Award finalist. That's the Heisman for the FCS. He transferred to Oregon State this year and found himself in a tight quarterback competition. Say he stays, and say Idaho finishes again in the top 10, and McCoy throws for another 2,900 yards. Do you think the collective in Corvallis is going to be his best offer? I love the Beavs, but of course not. Making it even more complicated, if you do get the bag from a Power 4 school, you risk your production not being the same at the new spot. Take Oregon State's offense from last year. Last year, Salas Bolden had a top 10 receiving grade in the conference. Week 1 this year at his new school, Texas, 1 catch for 5 yards. Week 2 versus Michigan, no catches. Last year, DJU had 8.3 yards per attempt and set a career high in yards. First 2 games at his new school, Florida State, 6.7 yards per attempt. Listen, I'll never hate on someone for getting theirs and making the right decision for them. I just thought Coach Eck brought up a good point that I haven't heard people talk about in the transfer portal era. You can wait until the grass gets greener.
So what y'all think, man? That's the approach for the lower level kids. I think it makes sense. I think I would take that approach, right? Because the more you dominate, the higher your stock gonna get. The deeper in experience you're gonna be valued more than let's say a sophomore transfer from the lower level. Junior transfer, probably get even just that much more money coming into your 3rd year. You should be ready to cause wreck. So I think that approach is real, especially if they offering you low money. Stay another year and get that bigger bag. But, some might say tomorrow ain't promised. So I see both sides of the argument. So what y'all think? Let me know in the comments. But until then, it's your boy Carter Sports. It's Trojan City. It's USC. So let's go.